Hi, this is Brenda Bates, Medicine Woman, and we are going to have a show soon called Medicine Women Reveal. And we're having some technical difficulty getting on the air. This is our second attempt, and I quite understand it. From the quantum law of attraction, I understand what's really happening. So, I was learning something about, I'll tell you more about it in a minute, but what you really probably need to know is that who is Brenda? Well, let's see. I'm 45 years old. Yes, I have 2 kids and a wonderful husband. And what I do is that in the last couple of years I have become a medicine woman. I am a healer first. I was born with the ideas and thoughts that everybody has, and I didn't use some filters. I didn't shut some things down. Because I didn't shut it down, it was very simply about understanding that, oh, not everybody does this. Not everyone sits there and does this. Jen, say something.
Hi there, this is Jenn, Tafel, Medicine Woman, joining Brenda. We are Medicine Women Reveal, and we appreciate your patience as we're learning the new system.
Yeah, this is our second attempt. Some people say, well, I don't understand why. Well, we kind of have the quantum law of attraction. Since it's happening to me, I've got my information of why my part played in this illusion. Then there's Jen that's played in this, and then that's her part. And then we have wonderful Mark. His soul is volunteered to take this journey with us, and he has to go through a little bit of hell. You know, I call them just little bumps and bee stings. They're not officially bitch slaps because none of us has lost our head and haven't hit rock bottom. But this is a wonderful way for us to introduce ourselves, because one of the things I do is simply understand and see things that other people can't see. Now, I will take that back because everybody can see all this. And so now it's called Clue Day. Anything that can go wrong will go wrong? Well, no. What it really just means is pay attention. Do you have to lose your head because you're not following the right manners? Like right now, my husband has texted me on my phone and says, "Yoo-hoo, I can hear you," which means, yay, we have liftoff. And it's kind of hard sometimes. You feel like you're walking around blind, but I'm trusting, and that's about trust, faith, and hope. You just keep going, and we are so trained because our manual for living actually comes to us when we're born. We have our soul contract, and we have all these little things that occur. And what our soul does is simply steps in the journey of life, and we have to learn to have relationships with other souls. And when that occurs, our first time we do this, the first time we do that, and it's our reactions that determine whether or not we get to look at our manual for living going, oh, I didn't learn about what it meant to behave. All right, gonna check that off my list. Nope, I responded negatively. I let it bother me. I took it personal. I had pain. I over-identified with it so much that I became the illusion. And guess what? I lost a lot of life force power because I'm not going to keep that in my space so that I can grow up with it and say they're lessons learned. But most of the times we have to unlearn the lessons that we thought we had to learn. So, backing it up the boat, let's listen one more time. And when I'm born and as I'm into the space, one of the amazing things is that if there's something going on, a situation, a chaos, a drama, a trauma, but if I am not the one that's supposed to react to it, and I don't react to it negatively, and I'm, just there, what will happen is that my soul will go, oh, she didn't lose any life force power to keep that illusion alive. She didn't over-identify. Give a great big check mark and say she's past that. Now we're going to take that out of her soul contract. Okay, so does that make sense so far, Jen?
Right, so there are these lessons. Now, did we come to the planet with these lessons already?
Yes, because the planet is just an illusion. And what it is before we actually arrive, one of the things that my spirit guides and the teachers and all the people that I allow into my space happens to show me and tell me through dreams and many things. So here it is. Just imagine you're in front of the classroom. A lot of people think, oh my God, I'm naked. No, that's just a dream. But a lot of times we stand in front of the whole beams of light. We're a beam of light. We don't have the elements of fire, water, metal, earth, and I know I'm missing one. But all I know is that we haven't created a form yet. Okay, we haven't projected the illusion of having a physical body. We haven't read the codes to be able to create that yet. So we're creating our soul contract with other souls, and says, okay, and it's very complicated. It's like a spider web all over the place. It's very intricate, but yet it knows what it needs to do.
Right, because if you don't learn a lesson by a certain point, and that soul says, oh, if you didn't learn it, then they kind of weave out, and then another soul says, oh, if you haven't learned it by this point, then I'll be the teacher. So if we haven't learned it maybe through childhood, then maybe it's through a teacher or a love interest, or
let's make it clear to the callers that it's not up to the other souls. If our soul has taken and thrown an entanglement cord out, and it says that, oh, how many times? So I've decided how many times is it going to take. If I didn't learn it, then this is going to come along. If I didn't learn it, this is going to come along. But if I learned it, then everybody else gets reweaved, reshuffled, recalibrated, and then they don't have to weave into my life to show me a lesson. So it's really up to us how many times it's going to take before we get it. Okay? And if you look at the baby stage, and all the way to old age, that is actually a picture of what our soul's doing. It is the soul's growth. And it's learning to mature. And what's so nice about this is that we see the pattern. We, as spirits, with a soul, which is the recorder, because we're all spirit beings, but we have our individual recorders, that's what makes us different. And we have this physical vessel, which I call a meat suit, and people laugh at me. But we're in here, and we're not encased in it by accident. You know, we chose. We wanted to look like this. We chose our parents, and it's all about cause and effect and the power of choice. Now, what happens is I'm giving you a lot of information, and a lot of people always tell me, man, you got a lot of information you're giving. And that's fine. That's great. What you're going to do is I'm not talking sometimes just to the conscious state of who you are. I'm talking to the soul part, the part that's really here on this journey. And as I speak, you will learn more and more, because it's your subconscious mind that's listening. It not only your subconscious mind, but you are taking in all things, all healing, all changes, all that takes place on the subconscious level. And you're looking at it if you were looking in the video. So let's back up the boat. I will give you more information on this story. So we started out today with being our second attempt to go live.
so we need to raise our voice a little bit.
Well, we could also hit the volume control. I just have to figure out what that is. So that's a sign that it's about speaking. Since our voices are low and sometimes scratchy for some reason, well, I'll be darned.
It's like we're getting feedback. Yes, we are getting feedback from somebody.
And that's what we are doing when you interact with the soul. Okay.
Awesome. So,
well, let's talk and see. I think I turned my volume up. That might help because it does look like it's falling into the range. I do miss certain notes. Now, I have so many juicy informations they're channeling through. I have to line them up like a herd of cattle and say, wait a minute. What we really need to do is there's all these juicy information, these gems that they want to teach everybody that's actually listening, because we are finally magnetically coming together. So I have to pick and choose what I need to talk to you about. And, you know, since we already have that mic up and it might be scratchy, I don't know. It did to some degree, Mark, yes, it did go up a little bit. What I'm going to try to do is take our other mic and see what happens. Does that do any good? No. Well, I'll be darned. Does that do any good? Any better? No. Alright, I'll have to find a new mic, which would be fine. I'll just get closer to the computer. That's what it's called. And as I'm talking, we're going to get better and better at this all the time. So the virtual, yes. Okay, so I'll let Jen chat to him.
yeah. I'm chatting, you keep talking.
You keep talking. I'm pretty good at that, except for when spirit drops me and then I have to go solo.
So we were talking about the lessons and how it affected today's show. So you mean that we're learning a lesson as we're going live? You mean it's not just computer technical difficulties?
No, it's not computer technical difficulties, and it's just not called life, and I have a lesson to learn. It is learning the weaving in and out of what it is you're projecting, what your soul is, language is, and when you learn how to read it. Now, here's the funny part. Now, we're going to throw a lot of analogies out there. What happens is that, like for instance, my husband, the apprentice, Scott, says to me, oh, I always get red lights. And I say to him, well, before I was more seeing this was, oh, stop predicting that. You know, which is what he's doing, is run to the end of his timeline, because he has already had the pathway in his brain. And before that, I'd say, oh, quit it. You know, you're bringing it into our reality, because that's the law of attraction. And now I've gotten to the point I'm going, oh, honey, you saw a code. Do you want to create that anymore? How about if we change it? Because we have the ability to change the musical notes. Yes, you heard me, that inside our body there are 12 notes that match our 12 meridians. And those notes, like on this mic here, I'm missing a certain letter, like probably A or B or C. And I know this because I have a voice bio machine, and it's really cool to, it doesn't matter what you say, it's whatever's chemical peptides your brain is creating, and you're going to keep creating pathways and things like this. And when you do that, what happens is that you'll start noticing that there's certain notes that you're missing, and you'll bring people in that will allow you to, let's see, communicate and fill in those spaces. Where when you're missing B and C, that's a physical manifestation. And Kay Thompson, the woman I learned it from and who created her program, she had gone to a woman's shelter. And the woman that had been abused and beaten by her boyfriend, she wasn't married, which is no big deal, but what I want you to understand is that she had been committed to him for quite a few years. And the relationship, when they did the voice bio test, the lady, the abused woman, was missing letters B and C completely. She couldn't even, you get 3 questions, she couldn't even hit the note that said, you know, that I can physically take care of myself, which is the first chakra, which is the root. And it's about that learning, do I have the necessities? Do I have what it takes? Do I have the abilities to be able to live and function on this planet? Can I survive? Everybody knows that word quite well. And what's interesting is that, and okay, they're getting distracted by her, so I gotta just re-zero back in. I have to re-zero back in. And when they do that to me, it's because they're catching something. I'm picking up her chemical peptides about something. Alright, now I want to go back to the story. Jen, realign me.
It was the woman who was abused in the shelter and her boyfriend, and what they did is they complemented each other with their notes and their system as to come together as a match.
Right. So when they did the voice bio on him, he had way too much C and way too much B, but he didn't have any of the other notes, where she did. So that's why they were extremely forced together. He had to work on his emotions and the self-talk, and which is the mental, which is the rest of the notes, and then C and B was the physicals. Now he could survive. He knew how to do it through fighting. He knew how to do it a certain way. And so when them come together, they then play off each other and play out this reality, because I don't know how to put it, is that when I look out, you all make entanglement cords to create this reality, this illusion. And every time you wake up, or every time you step out of, let's say you're in your house, you've got entanglement things with your house. Well, you have other entanglements to the city and the car, but you don't see those, so they're not going to vibrate as high. And then when you go outside, you then all of a sudden realign yourself to the entanglement cords with them. And what happens is that you then realign yourself up to the dimension that the string, with the vibration, and then you start creating that vibrational rate. Okay, in some areas you may have a stronger note than you do in others. But each of them are beautifully balanced, and we'll talk more about that. So how does that apply to what technical difficulty? Well, here's the thing. I heal all the time. I'm a healer first, and which means that the information that they're giving me, I'm not going to waste it. I can learn by a whisper and opportunity, and that means I don't have to suffer. So suffering is an option. I don't have to hit rock bottom. It's about how I relate and react to it. And so again, when you started out as a baby,